Hello to you all, my friends. I'm trying to explain in my extra bad English the third day of competition in the HPV World Championships in Nantes in France. So here I am at the start, and I'm trying to explain the results of the previous day. So in the first day was ninth, in the second day I was third and fourth. So what I want to tell is just that in this day I will try to be very quiet because I've got some issues. I could have some issues about the frame of my bike, the HTH Rev, because it's a quite new bike at all. I just made about 400 kilometers, so it is not fully tested. And the track is a very nice track. Nice mean funny, nice mean very. You've got to drive very careful in some parts because in the first parts it climbs a little, just 3-4% climb and average per climb, and then it goes down and we could reach very high speeds. So could be could be an issue if something will broke. In fact, in the days before this race, I've broken a part in the frame, just a little broke in the frame, so I cannot be sure that everything will be alright. So I will concentrate on the results. If I would be, let's say, 10 of my category, I will reach 6th or 7th place and could be right. So this is the paddock. We see some Zocras, we see some that bamboo traction direct, this fantastic Zocar KA that was an inspiration for my bike. And this is the start. At the start I was very impressed because it was nice to start in the first 13. I was 13 overall, so I started 13, and this is the start. As you see, there are some bells that are singing, and here is the group. It's a big group. It's 120 riders. Here I am, just passed there with the blue jersey. This is Michael Hallman, but you see all the riders go very hard since the first meter. So it's a race, and since it is a race, I've got to push. Yes, I just wanted to go very quiet, but I couldn't. I will try to take a good pace, and just 200 watts average per lap would be nice, because 3 hours, let's say 9 laps are a lot. 9 laps means you go and have some kind of gran fondo. Gran fondo meaning that it is 1,500 meters climbing versus 100 kilometers long. So it's a little tour stage. So here is the start. I'm 13, but someone will pass me at the moment, so we see many concurrents. Here it is, concurrent number 23, and 23 is, let's say, well, it's a Velomobile concurrent, so it's Peter Coppens. It's right that I follow on Strava, on Strava, yes, I just follow him on Strava. It is a very nice comparison, because in this track, in this stage, there are some climbs and some downhills. In this part of the climb, the average climb is, let's say, 3-4%. And as you say here in the start, since it is just a little climb, I think it is we can compare Velomobiles with Unfair, with Partially Fair and Trike. I think that everyone has a power that is similar, even though the first 2 or 3 are very powerful. The other one go just on, I think, to FTP of 270, 280. They are all very trained riders, but I think just the first ones like Koenig in the Mobile, or let's say Richard Schafferhoff or Marvin Tunnett or Daniel Fenn, Steen van der Male and Werner Klomp. I will put them on the top of the most powerful people. But there are the other ones, I think they are some, let's say, average riders. So we can make some kind of comparisons. Even though I think that in the track, the first 2 or 3 of the track are very powerful too. Let's say they are Mathieu Leroux, that will win the overall track classification, or Marc Loez, or Oliver Guades. They are very powerful, but the other one are quite similar. And we see here, yes, because at the start I just pushed a little. I am about 220 watts here, and I go, and here starts the downhill. We will talk later about this comparison. This downhill is very funny, as I told you before, but it was since it was the first time I'm going downhill, I didn't know here is the global very fast. Since it was the first time, I was not very confident about the descent, the climb, the downhill. So I got to take my breaks, and see how steep it is, and the corners and so on. This is a very nice corner, but I think it is not the most dangerous. Here it is the most dangerous. It's a right turn, very sharp, just like a parabolic turn. And then starts the S's, let's say the chicanes. There are all corners. Here is not a very sharp corner, but we are at about 55 km/h, and this is a very nice part, left and right. And if you can stay very close to the right, you will be very fast. At the moment, I'm not pedaling a lot, so I'm lost. I'm losing some space from the riders before me, but I just want to be calm, at least in the first 2-3 laps. This is a special part. Yes, we're going on the right. We are on the bridge, and then this is a very nice corner on the right, but it was not very. It was slippery on the inside, so you cannot cut this corner. You couldn't cut this corner. So you've got to go to the end. I had to go to the end. As you see, my rev goes very nice in this part. It is a flat part. Let's say it goes just quite uphill, but very little. And there is the DF driver, the DF athlete, the DF rider, and he drives. Let's see. He drives. Is Jan Trenson, a Felt. It is a common bike, as you see. And this is the occasion to see how is the comparison between the Recumbent bike and the DF bike, the diamond frame bike. On the flat, he's got to push. On the climb, he goes very nice because he's lighter. I think it's an 8 kilos bike, even though I am an 11 kilos bike, so it is quite close in the performance. And but here starts another very nice part of the track. Here the asphalt is very smooth. Then here starts I think the most beautiful part of the track, because there's a descent. It is downhill at about 2% average, and as you see, we can make a comparison between the Zocra and the Rev and the Velomobile. So of course have got a much speed, but as you see, I've reached all the riders that were in front of me. And there's another very nice part. It's full of very nice part. It's track against, as you see, against the sun. We cannot see the riders there very nicely, but here starts the fun. Because in this climb, I think the mobiles will reach at about 80 or I think 90 kilometers per hour, because it was very steep. And as you see, the F rider has got to push. I think he is over 300 watts, and my rev, I'm not pedaling at the moment. As you see, we've got the same speed, even though I'm not pedaling. So this is the usual difference because recumbents and the F frames. There are riders that are passing me. I think they were pedaling more than me. But this is a strange feature of my rev, because at the end of the climb, at the end of the descent, at the end of the downhill part, here, I'm starting to push harder, and I think it is a question of very short chain. So the short chain can take you to, let's say, a more direct power directed to the asphalt, to the tarmac, to the ground. And here is the Venobile, so fast, so dangerous, is Matthias Koenig, without any pain. Is passing me. There is Richard Schaffenhout, I think. So I wanted to say that there's not a lot of difference between rear-wheel drive and front-wheel drive. But if you need to push an high power for a little time, it's better to have a short chain than a long chain, because a long chain is just like some spring. I know you know, but I want to underline this feature. So if you have a very steep climb, let's say from 8 to 10% grade, a short chain could take you to a better performance. On the other hand, of course, you've got to drive more carefully, because the front, of course, is not steady, but goes with the tire, so with the wheel. So you need to drive in a completely different way. In fact, with my friends, I always say, if you want to try to test a front-wheel drive, and you are a recumbent biker, you will drive another bike. It's not a recumbent, it's not a vertical, it's a completely different bike. So you've got to train a little, to train at least 1000 kilometers to be confident, to have a good performance, of course. Here we see the difference between the Zocra and the Rev. The Rev is a low racer, so all the wheels are inside, let's say, the figure of the driver. So the drag of the wheels is not an issue, it's just a partial issue, it's just a partial drag, it's not a total drag. As you see, of course, the wheels are completely out of the body of the rider. But with a low racer, it is not a problem, because it is inside the figure of the driver itself. So, in fact, I have just quite less drag than that Zocra. Okay, you see here, I am in the back, but I can go just 1 or 2 kilometers per hour more, with more speed than the one in front. This is the other part I like most of the track. This part goes just slightly uphill, but then downhill very fast. I do like this part. I do like. It's my favorite part of the competition, even though I was frightened. Yes, because when I was riding this part, I was just steady on my handlebar. I took him very strong way, and I was telling my bike, don't brake, If you break, I'm nearly dead. Yes, because if you crash at 75, let's say 70 kilometers per hour, even though I was just very close to the tarmac, very close to the ground, this could ruin all my body, but it didn't happen. Another vehicle, another, as you say, velomobile that is so fast in the downhill section, and then this it will take the speed up to the finish line. Here we see the finish line. There are a lot of people gathered to see the competition. It was a very nice competition, very nice organization. I have to thank Marc Lesur and all the other people that helped, because it was not, of course, a Tour de France competition, let's say international competition at this level, but it was one of the best days of my life. I really enjoyed, yes. Here we see another, it's not a DF Daniel Fenn, not diamond frame vehicle, it is an Alpha 7. I think it is the best, one of the best, if not the best, velomobile at the moment that can be bought. And here it is the end biker. I had some speech with him, a very nice guy. And there is Giovanni and another trike passing through. Thank you very much. This is the WAV, maybe it is a touristic version. I think there is the carbon one and the not carbon one, so maybe it is the other version. And in front of us we see the star of the competition. He is the famous YouTuber John Williams, and passing through I say, "Come on, John," and he said to me something like, "Make your business now." I'm joking, I think. He told me, "Okay, I'm doing my best," and his best was not very best, because he has completed just 3 or 4 rounds, 3 or 4 laps of the track. Then I think he had spent his time making some pictures, photos of us, and we will see everything in his channel, in his YouTube channel. And I underline that he has come here in France, in Nandax, on his own wheels, with his quattro and so maybe could be very tired. Here we see the Milan. As you see, I'm not so slow not to catch the Milan, but then it goes away, and that is my nightmare. Yes, I didn't know who was him actually, because this is my first competition, international competition, so in fact it was my nightmare, because he is the guy in front of me in the competition, and he's Mr. Ayo Eckstein from Deutschland. He had reached me and unfortunately passed me. I will try to go closer to him in the flat section, but at the end I let him go, because on one side I didn't know he was the third, so the one I was competing very close to, and on the other side I did want it to go to the end, as I told you many times, so could be enough for me. I didn't want to come to the last lap and see my body refusing to make any meter more, and to reach the finish line, maybe not to reach the finish line, maybe be overlapped. In fact, at the end I was not lapped. I could make all the laps, just 9 laps, so I think this is first time no one overlapped me in a competition like that, because in the other competition, let's say the Italian Championship in Monza, of course the velomobiles are so fast, so they reach all the laps in half a time, half alpha time than the unfaired. So the competition is shorter. In this case, it was not shorter. We all made all the 3 hours of competition. It was very hot. I think we reached 34 degrees Celsius. It was fresher in this part because of the wood, but it was hot, so hot. I can imagine how hot it would be in a Venomobile, maybe closed with the upper part closed, with the visor maybe open but not enough open to let some fresh air coming in. As you see at the moment, there is the last climb of the, I think, 6th lap, and I let him go. This is another very interesting vehicle. It is a trike, but a delta trike, tilting. It could be an inspiration if I decide to transform the Rev HTH Rev in a trike, but in this case I think I will have the rear wheels not tilting, just rigid geometry. That's it. That's the end of the battery of my action camera. I did have another camera on my handlebars, but it was not working, so I couldn't record any other picture or videos of the competition. But that's the same thing, because at the end I had this battle with the Belgian rider Jan Trenson with his felt, and on the last lap I let him go. So at the end I was 5th. I came to the finish line alone, and I was happy with that, because here I am, and these are the two guys, very strong, stronger. I think Recumbent riders at the moment. Maybe they are as strong as Matthias Koenig and Richard Schafferoth. I think they are very similar in power. I saw some data on Strava, and they could reach very easily 300 watts constantly for 1 hour. So it is the FTP value. 300 is not a professional power value for a professionist, for a Tour de France rider, but it is a very high performance. Yes, my average power is 30 or 40 watts less. Maybe I will train for the next year competition. Maybe I could reach some watt. I could gain some watt, but I don't know if I could gain all that power. Here I am, near the end. I was comfortable in my position, yes, because that position is so comfortable. I think I can sleep, and I can sleep in that position with my hands, my back, my neck, they're all in the correct position. And I'm quite happy. When I go on the common roads, it's so nice going with the Rev HTH, because it's like having an electric power, an electric assistant without having it. It goes on flat like hell, and I could beat any traditional rider, yes, anyone. And when I pass the traditional rider, I'm so happy, yes, because I know it's not a nice thing, but I need to demonstrate that Recumbent bikes are better, or better at least they have some characteristics that they make a good bike. So it's the picture of my finish line, and now Elisa has recorded all the last riders on the line. So let's make the speaker speak.
Allez, vous pouvez les applaudir. Allez, c'est super. Ouais, de faire son certificat médical. Un tel applaudissement pour Serge. super, on applaudit.
È il primo questo.
Bienvenue chez toi, voici le premier de l'eau couché. Super, oui. De l'eau couché, Gilles, notre doyen de l'épreuve. Toutes mes félicitations, Gilles. Oui, bravo, bravo. Bien les tours. Et Patricia, bravo. On vous applaudit très fort. Bravo. Super, super. Super. Madame Patlanzi, toutes nos félicitations. Bravo, bravo. Bravo, bravo. Je vous demande d'applaudir Marc Le Sourd. Marc Le Sourd. Marc Le Sourd, bravo. Patrick Douteau. Patrick Douteau. Notre ami de Suisse, Bonina Sanko. Allez, les arrivées vont s'enchaîner maintenant. Merci, c'est super. Dobson, Marc Dobson et son Frank Vert et Geoffroy Lelièvre, qui fait partie de la FB, qui s'occupe des courses à l'association. Allez, on applaudit bien fort. Il est passé avec le sourire pendant 3 heures et il... Super. Ok. Oh, super. Belle. Et voici Johanna Prost avec son superbe vélo couché en carbone réalisé par le Jean de Et voici Christian Crépel, suivi de Pompe Perle. Et la mamie entretenue en arrivant. Super, bravo, bravo, bravo. Bravo. Coppens Peter. Allez, super, bravo, bravo. Christian Voss. Frédéric Boiteux. Bravo Fred, super. Fred, toute la famille est sur la route comme bénévole. C'est super, allez, bravo. Bravo. Watson, Simon. Ils sont venus toute la famille. Ils sont venus toute la famille. Christine, allez. Allez, tous les deux. Allez, c'est super. Allez, Richard et Christine aussi. Monsieur, madame. Monsieur, madame. Monsieur, madame Carlessa. Sous les applaudissements. Allez, super, Richard. Ils s'en vont tous. Et notre amie Patricia qui vont terminer elle aussi. Marcel, super, belle course. Et aussi Patricia qui arrive. Patricia qui termine ses championnats du monde. Allez. Voilà. Les passages. Camille et Vincent Béra, le régional de l'État. Vincent Béra. Super Vincent. Vélo couché et qui a fait la distance en vélo droit. On peut applaudir quand même. On remarquera, l'association française est très ouverte puisqu'il y avait même un vélo droit. 2 vélos. Et voici notre ami américain, Oslund Nari qui vient de Caroline du Nord. Il a fait le déplacement pour venir participer à ces championnats du monde de 2019. C'est pas beau ça. Et voici Ruda Malco. Ah, Ruda Malco, bravo, bravo.
So here I am on the finish line. It was over. I was so tired, but so happy. And here I am with my Coke in my hand, very happy. I could still standing and not on the floor. So I was alive, and Sophia, of course, is joking with me. I'm saying that it was one of the hardest things of my life. Except my wedding. I was joking, but not so much. And it was one of the best things I've ever done with my bicycle. It is an international competition, it is the first time, so I'm so happy. In the first day I thought I was in the classification, I could be in the first part, not fourth at all. So I am fourth in an international competition, so it's very nice. It is not, of course, the Tour de France or the Giro d'Italia, but for me is the best thing I could do, and this is important thing for me. It's not important winning, it's important winning of course, but it's important to reach your best. And since I had some very big issues in the weeks before with the Formula 1 pedal car and so on, it was the best I could do. Maybe next year will be better, I will train. I'm saying that this is the day I'm ending my diet, but it's not true, because I will keep my physique, my 45-year physique, as best as I could for next year, and because I want to reach that bronze medal. I think it is one of the best performance of an Italian guy, an Italian driver, in an international championship. I don't know if someone has reached the bronze in the unfair classification before, but I think it is one of the best. And of course, it is a self-built bike, very strange, very different, common but different. I've made it in my cellar, so it is self-constructed with poor materials. And here we are with the ceremony, the last ceremony. It is the group with Mr. Marc Lesur. He's a very nice guy and he's a very nice rider and presenter. I like him very much. And this is we saw the junior classes, women and men. This is the trike women classification, and we will be here with the women, but completely fair, so Velomobiles classification. The Cibaldo, of course, is the best woman in the world. Women unfaired. In the second position there is that girl that has made his own bamboo bike, and this is the overall women. Of course, Danici is the best of all. Then Velomobil men overall classification, Matthias Koenig. Daniel Fenn just third with his dog and with his underpaints. In this case we don't see his underpaints. Partially faired, Mr. Bollina is third, and Mr. Geoffrey somewhat is first. Then this is my class. I am here but not on the podium. It's a pity, but it's like that. It's racing, and I think it is one of the best picture someone has made for me. I am in the wood, and it is another picture. We may see the evolution of bikes: upper, middle, low, and mine is the low, and I'm very proud of it. And as we will see in some videos after, we'll know that it is a quite fast bike, even though it's made in the cellar. It is comparable to faster one. And after that, when I was home, some papers wrote that an engineer, an engineer from Borgo Manero reaches fourth place in an international championship, just making his bike in his cellar, and he's made this performance just by himself and by his hands. So I'm very proud of it. And that's it. This is the official classification. As we see in the trike, Mr. Leroux won, then Marc Luz, Oliver Wadens, and we have got to underline that Oliver Wadens has made his own trike by himself. It is a steel trike. We had some speech after the race. So he is a builder. He's one of the homemade vehicles classification. So if there was an homemade classification, it will be on the top. Even I will be on the top of that. Unfortunately, there isn't any classification about that. So many compliments. In the partially fate, Mr. Geoffrey Lelievre, that I have some issues about the speeching, won. with the Zucker KA, very good. Then there's Andy Gerber and Mr. Sandro Bollino. We know him very well because he has made some competition in Italy and in Monza. Then Marc Lesur, that was in the organization, was on the competition, so many compliments to him even for this great effort. Then your big stop, Gardner, Cresson, Chassenry. Chassenry that was a former champion with his peregrine, but in this case he is just partially fair. This is my class. The Belgian Stint van der Male, unbeatable. Then Marvin Tunat, very close. My nightmare, Ayo Eckstein from Deutschland. And Marco Ruga. I'm very proud of it. Marco Ruga, Italy. David Lostis was behind me. Then Pierre Gouillon, Gilles Mondet, Jan Trenson, that was very powerful, but he struggled on the flat races, so the 200 and 1 kilometer races, because of course he has a diamond frame bike and he had to struggle. In the motorbikes, Matthias Koenig, Richard Schaffenholt, very strong indeed. Then Mr. Daniel Fenn, just third. So it is good, but not so good. His pants were in the first places in the last international competition. So in this case, he's behind. Then Peter Sibrandi, Verden Klomp, we know him in Monza. We saw him in Monza many times. Imte Sibrandi, and Christian Voss, Lars Zinner, Peter Kompens, the guy that I follow on Strava, is very strong too. Then Nichi Valde, just 11, but very strong. For the overall result, there's complicated calculations and so on, but Richard Schafferoth wins, not Mattia Koenig, just second. Then Marvin Tunat, so the Venomobile are still in front. Then Peter Sibrandi, Daniel Fenn, 5th, Stijn van der Mader, another unfair, 6th, then Werder Klomp, Imten Sibrandi, Geoffrey Lievre with the partially fair, Christian Vost with a DF, Alpha 7, Lars Zwinner and Marco Ruga. So in this classification I am 3rd, not 4th, because my nightmare, Ayo Eckstein, is just 14th. So I'm very proud of it. I am 12th overall with my Recumbent bike, so it's a bike against Venomobikes. So I couldn't be prouder. That's all. Thank you, and just pardon me for my extra bad English, but that's it. I'm Italian, and for Italian people it's an issue speaking in other languages. We'll see in the next championship. That 3rd place will be mine. Okay, thank you very much to you all. Thank you. Bye bye.